Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I do hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video, which are my first impressions of Just Flight's 146 professional aircraft. Absolutely stunning aircraft, look at it, inside and out. And it performs like an angel as well. So I'll be giving you my first impressions of it, and I'll even go for a quick test flight to test its incredible handling. So let's not dilly-dally, let's get on with this video. Okay, so I'm set up at my usual suspects, usual location. London City Airport, runway 27. Probably not the ideal place for the 146, but still, we'll go for it. External view first. Zoom in a bit. Look at the amount of detail you're getting there. Look at the amount of detail in that. See all the dirts and rivets and goodness knows what. Let me use my hat switch. I am using a little different controller at the moment. I'll talk more about that later and why. For the moment, look at the amount of detail. Let's just put some flaps down, flaps in there, flaps down, flaps up. Beautiful smooth animation there. Stunning looking aircraft. Obviously this is the Aer Lingus livery. And in fact, let me just show you the undercarriage as well. I've got a drone camera key set up there. Look at the amount of detail on that too. Every mechanical bit of the undercarriage there, just lovely looking for undercarriage lovers. You're going to really enjoy that. I'm doing it this way because I am using a different controller. Well, let's get back into external view. Stunning, stunning looking aircraft. Iconic. I guess next to the Concorde. Well, for some people this is the most iconic aircraft. For me, next to the Concorde, it's one of the most iconic aircrafts out there. Look at the insane amount of detail in the external view there. Absolutely lovely looking. No doubt about it. Beautiful. Now, the 146, I counted 7 different variants of them once you bought it and downloaded it. By the way, it's on sale at the moment for £50 or the equivalent in your country's currency from the Just Flight website. I'll link it down below. It comes with 7 different variants. Let me show you that on screen. So you can see the 7 different variants from a source of 146, 100s, 200s and 300s. And as I click into one of the variants there, you can see you get quite a good number of liveries as well, so you're getting a whole lot for that package for that £50. So there you go, let's take that off screen. It's not all about liveries and variants though, it's about handling and performance. I will get into that in a moment. Let me just go external, internal. I'll show you this incredible looking cockpit as well. Look at that overhead panel. Absolutely beautiful. And again, it's probably one of the best overhead panels per se that I've seen in a flight simulator to date. Very tactile switches as well. Some of them you use your mouse to switch on and off. Better be careful, I am turning it on and off. There you go, with that one I use my mouse. Lovely, there's a lot to learn here. Now I've set up various views myself, and I'll go through these later as we go for a test flight and why I've set them up. Pretty much these would be my most used views, so I've just set them off. I'll link the video about setting up custom cockpit views. Beautiful looking, high quality, high texture and details. Massive amounts of details in there. And that is just absolutely stunning, I've got to say. Absolutely stunning. Now let me just talk about views for a second. If you're going to buy this, if you bought this already, or you're thinking of buying it, I would recommend setting up various views. This one down here, doesn't see much, you got your squawk and goodness knows what, but it lets you turn on the autopilot master, or lets you engage autopilot, which is here. Obviously the rest speak for themselves, the FMS. Flight management system, I believe. The overhead panels views there. There's another one. And your center panel here for all the sorts of autopilot and setting altitude. Altitude selected. Now you can mouse up and down there. If you want to get to something like 20,000 feet, it's going to take a while that down. Hold your left mouse down and just move your mouse to the right there. You can see it goes a whole lot quicker. Let's take that down to a reasonable value of 3,000 feet. And I'll talk about that more later. So setting up various views is a must in this aircraft. I do have another view set up for something very special indeed. It's this tablet on the side there. Now, if you've got something like a Navigraph account, I don't personally, or you use something like SimBrief, I do, and I'm going to do a video on this, one of my back to basic videos on this. And you can load them into this aircraft and it'll show you the various charts and goodness knows what, and various details with the flight plan you've got set up. Does give you a rather nifty map as well, which you can zoom in and out of. You can see we're obviously over London at the moment. You can zoom in and out of that. And take a look around the world if you want to. And things like your aircraft. And you can even go to things like cold and dark state, ready for takeoff. So cold and dark, let's do it. There you go, cold and dark. Let's go back to that view and go to ready for takeoff, which we were at. And there you go. It's all coming up again. Let's hope these turn themselves off. If not, I'll come back and switch them off. Have they turned themselves? Oh, well. I'll worry about that a bit later. Press the home key again, go back home. And you can put things like notes there, settings as well. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's background noises going on as well. I can hear people in the cabin, or the cabin crew and the cabins, the various sorts of passengers' cabins and that type of thing in the background. There's a whole lot going on with this. Be patient for my tutorial on how to fly this, how to fly a proper route with this, and goodness knows what. I first want to do that Back to Basics series on external flight planning. I think that would be quite important first. But what we will do, we're going to take this up for a test flight now and test its incredible handling. Okay, so I just reset the flight, restarted the flight because I didn't trust myself pressing all those different buttons. Before I forget, a big shout out to Scott at Just Flight. I reached out to him, asking him for a review copy, and he came through within a day, in fact. Thank you, Scott. Really loving this aircraft. So I'll tell you what, we're at London City. May not be following proper procedures here, but I'm going to go full throttle. Release the parking brake. You can probably hear the engine starting to spool up there. We're going to have to take off sharpish. It's only a short runway, London City. Like I said, probably not the most ideal. I'm also using my Raptor 2, link to that video in the top right there. Because I'm moving and I've boxed up my Velocity 1 flight yoke. But the Raptor 2 is doing well. Now once we get to the end of this runway, we'll just lift off. Gear up, because if you don't go gear up, you're gonna find it a lot easier to trim out once you've put that gear up. Oh, the gear's gone into the body. We missed that, but never mind. Let's just hand fly it. Do you know what? Generally, when I don't like hand flying airliners. Now this is a smaller airliner, granted, but it is still a passenger plane, as you can see. This is an absolute dream to handle. Absolute dream. It reminds me, strangely enough, of flying something like, I'm just going to keep an eye on the speed down here, flying something like a large Grand Caravan. That's going to sound quite strange, But it really does. Let me just take my flaps up as well. I think I've still got one stage of flaps in there. But there we go. So that's up. I'm just going to keep an eye on my speed. Throttle back a little bit. It's no trouble to fly manually. It's a bit of an issue when landing. You've really got to time those landings and get them right and start configuring while you're some distance. I'm not going to land it in this video because I don't want to teach bad habits. And I'm still practicing with that. I did manage a successful landing previously. Let's just pitch up a little bit there. Yeah, but I'm just going to go for a fly around, show you its handling. Okay, so the handling's lovely, as you saw there. Does feel like you can easily just fly this around. And once you have learned to configure for landing, and goodness knows what, to go and land somewhere. But let's show you some autopilot goodness though. I'm going to come down to this view, turn the autopilot master on. And I'm going to go to I'm going to engage altitude mode here. So hopefully it will climb to that 3,000 feet. Also going to change my heading. This is your heading bug here, essentially. Now, because I'm using my Raptor 2, I'm having to do this the old-fashioned way, but that's okay. I'll put it to about 270-ish and go into heading mode. And what we'll do, once it gets to that 3,000 feet, we'll engage altitude mode as well. There you go, it's in heading mode. So I can control the aircraft now by turning that knob. If you've got this set up on your controls, increase and decrease the heading bug, it'll be a lot easier. I don't at the moment. But there you go, let's just keep an eye on our altitude there. There you go, it's climbing to 3,000 and maintaining 3,000 feet. Just going to throttle back. As you can see, ground speed there is over 300 knots. So I'm just throttling back, maybe even to about halfway. This is not a tutorial about how to do autopilot. I'm just showing you how versatile this aircraft is. I'm going to turn it back around to London. Main downtown London, so it'll be about 90 degrees or so. Takes a while. I wish I had my velocity 1 right now. I wish it wasn't boxed up, but I am moving, so I have to. I had to do it. There you go. It's following that bug and turning us back round to London City. Now keep in mind I'm recording. We're not recording on my laptop, and link to my laptop in the top right, by the way, what laptop I'm using. It's a 3060 laptop. I'm hitting in high settings around 40 frames, pretty averagely around 40 frames a second. Because I'm recording, I actually had to turn VSync on so it behaves properly in the recording, I hope. And yeah, I'm still getting decent frames, it still feels smooth. So on average, I am hitting that 40 frames a second in high in quite a complex airliner such as this, with all these complex controls and mechanics going on, and goodness knows what. Now, are we turning back towards London City? We are. There's London in the foreground there. So let me just get down. Keep an eye on your ground speed as well, your speed. You can do it here. You get a digital reading here. Just keep an eye on that. I want to get it to under 300 knots. And I'm really having to take that throttle down to do that. Really having to decrease that throttle. Oh, you know, that will do. For the sake of the video, that will do. And we can just turn that heading. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, in fact. I'm going to come down here and turn my autopilot off. Autopilot master off. Come back up here. I've got full control of the aircraft again. Lovely. If airliners scare you, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of complex controls in this. To learn it properly, it's going to take a while, and I will do a video on that, kind of a newbie way, or newbie video rather, for new players, to try and make it as less as complicated, as lightly complicated as I can. Or shall we say, I'm going to make it as uncomplicated as I can. There we go, we're flying back towards London there. It's lovely to handle. You can actually learn to hand fly this aircraft. as I'm doing here at the moment, using a bit of trim and very little throttle, because it really has, it's a powerhouse, this aircraft. You don't want much throttle in once you got to your altitude. Well, depending how quickly you want to get from A to B. But you really don't want to be overstressing the aircraft. There we are. Good speed, good altitude. It's just absolutely lovely to hand fly. Well, listen, I fully recommend this aircraft. I fully recommend it absolutely, completely. It's one of the most iconic aircraft out there. And the level of detail and the handling on this, it flies like a dream. I'm massively enjoying it. Full recommendation from me. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you have it? Are you enjoying it? Are you looking to get it? Hopefully it will come to Xbox soon. It's PC only, I'm afraid, at the moment, chaps. But hopefully an Xbox release soon. Let me know your thoughts. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you soon.